Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Lyceum Weekly Update number 25 for the week of June 2nd, 2014. Starting off with a couple of announcements. There are radio things that I do. The first one I've been doing for a while, which is every fortnight on Wednesday, I go on Radio Northern Beaches, their program The Flip Side with Lachlan Wiley, which is on 88.7 FM, 90.3 FM, or you can just stream it online. And the show is on every Wednesday from 5 PM to 6:30 PM. And the new thing I'll be doing, which is the first Thursday of each month, I'll be going on 2SER's Band Next Door with Cameron, which is on 107.3 FM, or you can just stream it through their website. And Band Next Door is on every Thursday from 10 PM to 12 AM. I'll be going on these shows to cover upcoming gigs to look out for and some really cool bands to check out. So definitely check out their shows when they're on, because they put on a pretty cool diverse range of music and it's always local and they definitely know the kind of bands that they're talking about. I don't know if that made sense. I'm just going to trust that makes sense. And now on to launches. Starting on Wednesday the 4th, there's going to be a singer-songwriter album launch at the Newtown Social Club in Newtown for $18 with Daniel Champagne, or Champagne. Then on Thursday the 5th, there's an electronica album launch at the Basement in Circular Quay. It's $16 with Fishing. And a blues singer-songwriter album launch at the Vanguard in Newtown for $24 with Joe Mears. And lastly on Thursday, a gypsy jazz single launch at Venue 505 in Surrey Hills for $16 with The Tango Saloon. Then on Friday the 6th, there's going to be a hip-hop album launch at the King's Cross Hotel in King's Cross for $12 with Mr. Clean. And lastly on Friday, there is also a jazz album launch at Venue 505 in Surrey Hills for $21 with the Java Quartet. Then on Saturday the 7th, there is a folk rock EP launch at the Exchange Hotel in Darlinghurst as part of Spectrum Bar. That is $15 with Shadows at Play. Then there is an indie rock single launch that's happening at the Jam Gallery in Bondi. It's free with the Vans. And lastly on Saturday, there is a rock EP launch that's also a masquerade party at St. James Hotel in Sydney, also known as SFX, and that's with 46 clicks. Then on Sunday, there's an all-ages alternative indie punk rock album launch that's happening at Blackwire Records in Annandale with Tape Off. And lastly for Sunday, and lastly for launches, there is a hardcore metal EP launch that's happening at the Exchange Hotel in Darlinghurst in Spectrum Bar. It's $33 with a Disney theme with Allay the Sea. I want to hear hardcore metal covers of Disney songs. You know what I want to hear? I want to hear the intro to The Lion King done in hardcore metal. Da Savinya!
You're gonna fucking kill your voice again, bro.
Now onto special gigs. Starting on Friday the 6th, there's going to be a blues festival that goes across 3 days at Coogee Diggers. On Friday, it is $15. And then on Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be $25. Also on Friday, there's going to be a metal hardcore final show for a band that's happening at Sphere Night Spot in Sutherland, also known as Studio 6. It's $12, and it's the Ocean the Sky's final gig. Then on Saturday the 7th, as well as the second day of the Blues Festival, it's also going to be the final Spin the Bottle that's happening at the Exchange Hotel in Darlinghurst in the Spectrum Bar. Spin the Bottle has usually been on once every month. It's a mixed bag of a bunch of different genres and really cool bands, so if you never got to check it out before, definitely head down to this one, because it may not come back ever. And lastly on Saturday, there's also going to be a metal festival called Bangers and Thrash that's happening at the Lyceum Hotel in Lyceum for $20. And then on Sunday is the third day of the Blues Festival, which will be $25 on that day. And there'll also be a hardcore metal gig. There'll also be the final show for one band. It's happening at the Exchange Hotel in Darlinghurst in the Spectrum Bar, part of the Disney-themed night. And it will be the final gig ever for Alaska. And lastly on Sunday, there's going to be the No Good Winter Festival. For anyone who doesn't know, No Good is a record label that primarily puts on hip-hop acts. And they've decided to make a quarterly festival that is seasonal, so it's starting off with winter. It's going to be filled with hip-hop, alternative, rock and electronica acts happening at the Petersham Bowling Club in Petersham for $35. And now on to news. YouTube have decided to get into the music streaming business, following on from other services like Spotify, Xbox Music and Zune, Pandora and iTunes Radio. YouTube have already made deals with some of the bigger record labels in America to be able to stream their music, but some industry figureheads from the US, UK, Europe, Asia and Australia have spoken out about the poor contracts that have been put together for more independent labels. Apparently the royalties and the conditions of signing the contract are so low paying that there is no benefit for the independent labels to bother signing. and it would also mean that local artists would receive even less than they already do from streaming services. Streaming services are notorious for not paying artists very much money for millions and millions of plays, which has been shown recently from a bunch of artists showing their checks. And for a company that has such high standing in the world and purchases things for billions of dollars to do the same approach for paying of artists, doesn't really show a real promise for change in that market anytime soon. And now for stuff a bit more local and with more recognition for bands, the ARIAs have introduced a new award system. It's going to be the ARIA Number 1 Chart Award. This will be for any band that reaches number 1 on the ARIA album or singles charts, and it will be an award that's given immediately to the band that achieves that number 1 spot. The awards have also been handed out retroactively for artists that have been at the number 1 spot in the past 18 months, including local bands like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Flume, Chet Faker, and Birds of Tokyo. It's a pretty cool award to bring in, especially since in the last year there have been a lot more Aussie bands, and especially even independent Aussie bands, reaching number 1 in the charts. So it's cool that they can get that sort of immediate gratification that they've actually achieved something. And the final piece of news, which isn't as positive but still even more local, the New South Wales government have released further plans for the crackdown of alcohol-fueled violence. There are going to be some more bans that are planned to come in mid-July. These restrictions include that pubs can no longer serve shots, doubles, or pre-mixed drinks over 5% alcohol after midnight. It doesn't include cocktails. And also patrons cannot buy more than 4 drinks at one time after midnight, and then they cannot buy more than 2 drinks at one time after 2 a.m. And there will also be no liquor service between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., which I thought was what happened when the law first came in. So these bans should come into effect in mid-July, and they seem to be in an effort to stop people from loading up on alcohol right before the cease of service for alcohol. And there'll also be other restrictions coming in, including restrictions on alcohol promoted via flyers, vouchers, social media, websites, things like that. So essentially advertising alcohol might be banned. Also, venue security are legally required to refuse entry to anyone seen drinking approaching the venue, and also anyone wearing colours associated with motorcycle gangs will be refused entry. So the New South Wales government seems to be doubling down on their efforts to crack down on alcohol-fueled violence. So we'll have to see what happens if these laws get pushed through like the last ones did, if there's a lot of vague and odd things that don't really have any detail that can screw a lot of people over. But not much you can do except sit, wait, and complain. And finally, band of the week this week goes to Ungus Ungus Ungus. They are a progressive rock, gypsy, jazz, funk thing. They're a really cool band, but you can make your mind up for yourself because a clip of theirs will be played at the end of this video. They are also having a gig on Friday the 6th at Deja in Marrickville. So if you like what you hear, definitely get down and check them out. And that is it for this week. Make sure that you go onto the website because the gig guide is up so you can find out everything that's happening this week in Sydney. If you want to know more about the bands or the news articles that we talked about, everything is linked in the description box below. You can also check out our playlist on mixcloud.com/the Lyceum or on our website, which will have a track from every band having a launch this week. And don't forget to check out the flip side of Lachlan Wiley on Radio Northern Beaches every Wednesday from 5 p.m. and every Thursday check out The Band Next Door with Cameron on 2SER. If you're looking to advertise or promote and you're in a band, hosting an event, or run a business that gets involved in the live music scene, then get in touch with us at thelyceum.music@gmail.com. I'll be back next Monday with another look at the upcoming launches as well as all the news that has happened. Until then, be good.